Hey, hi, how's it going? It's Matthew Rayfield from Matthew Rayfield Worldwide, and I've been doing a little bit of upgrades on my computer, and I realized that I haven't cleaned it out, dusted it or anything on the inside in a very long time, like maybe 3 years, two at the least, 3, 4, 5 years at the most. I would say it's 3 years though. It's 3 years. Let's say 3 years. And I noticed that the CPU cooler is just like packed with dust. It's actually pretty disgusting. Let me show you what I got here. So this is what I've been using for the past few years here, and basically in this state, basically with the dangling boot drive and all, and the GPU is new, some RAM is new. I haven't been using a GPU at all for the past few years, but this is how it's been sitting with the side off too. So you can see that the CPU cooler is nasty. It's just really nasty. It's really nasty. It's filled with dust, and it's actually, you can't tell super well, but it's like packed in between the fins of the heatsink itself. And that can't be a good thing. And I've really been running this. I've been running Mac OS for a while. I'm kind of trying out Windows again these days. But I wanted to see, I was curious just what is that dust doing to my computer? Because it looks awful, and you always hear people say you should clean out your computer, you should change the thermal paste. So I'm going to do a little experiment, and that is, right now I'm going to run Prime 95 to get the CPU really hot and cooking, and I'm going to watch the temps and see if it's throttling at all, and then I'm going to go outside and take Mr. Dust off here, dust it all off, and then see what the temps are like after that, just to see what is the effect of all this dust in the computer. So, got my Hippo here, and I'm gonna go open up some stuff to monitor the temps, hardware monitor, HW monitor. Gonna get the Taskman going there, and then I'm gonna where's Prime 95? Where's Prime 95? There it is. Okay. Open up Prime 95, and I'm gonna start the torture test. Yeah. Blend. Okay, so you're seeing CPU there, 100% utilization. We're at 3.57 gigahertz, so that's probably the Turbo Max or whatever it is. This right there you see it. It's an i5 3570K, and it's not overclocked, as you can see. Maybe that's coming down the pike, but or is it pipe coming down the pipe? It's coming down the pipe. Anyways, looking at temperatures here, you can see that we are already at 91 Celsius, that's probably, I think, around the max you really want this CPU to be. So I'm curious to see if it gets hotter. And again, I have not been monitoring this at all. I mean, I've just been running this computer with Mac OS. I say with Mac OS because typically you're running Mac OS, you're not really monitoring things. At least I'm not. It's not really an overclocker's OS or anything. And okay, there we go, 100C. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty hot. That's what it is. And the ambient here is, I hope you can see this, is 76. Oh wait, you don't want that. That's Fahrenheit. 24 Celsius. So I don't know. You can do the math on that, but just keep that in mind. 24.5 C, and our CPU's at 105 C right now, and I guess we are throttling a little bit there, looking at 34.6 gigahertz, so that's lowering itself. I'm gonna let this go for another few minutes. I don't really want to like fry my CPU here. I don't know, when I've looked it up, people say you really only want this at like 90 C. That seems to be where people feel safe, at least, as far as even with overclocks. And this is the stock cooler, obviously, but this is not the best. So the dust, my feeling is the dust is a bad thing. Oh wow, look, CPU utilization is moving down. Okay, that's the real throttling. Oh wow, 95. So we're at 3.2 gigahertz. Yeah, it's not liking being that hot. Yeah, that's cool. So it's trying to cool itself down. 93%, 3.2. All right, I've seen enough. I'm gonna stop this. I've seen that the dust is obviously doing something. How do I stop this? Stop. All right, the dust is obviously not a good thing. So I'm gonna take the computer outside, dust it off, and come back and run the same test, and we will see what happens, what difference the dust versus the no dust makes. And I'm not taking the CPU cooler off right now. I'm just gonna try to spray the dust out of there with it sitting in there, because I want to do 2 tests. I want to do just get rid of the dust and then come back and add thermal paste. And I've got cheapo thermal paste, which is what I used whenever I put that CPU cooler on. It's nothing fancy, and I just want to see what the difference is between, you know, old but cheap thermal paste and new cheap thermal paste. And then maybe if I'm feeling fancy, I'll put in some. I got some Noctua thermal paste, and we'll see how that goes. And cool. I'm looking forward to it. All right, see you outside. And I'm back inside here with the computer. It does look. It looks cleaner. I mean, there's still definitely some dust stuck in there, but you can see it's not just totally packed with dust, and definitely the blades, all the dust on the blades got cleaned off for sure. So I'm gonna run Prime 95 again, watch the temps, watch the speed, see if it throttles. I don't know how long it took last time to get up to temp. It was like, it seemed like no time at all to start throttling. So I don't know, I'm just gonna run this and we'll see what happens. Go to torture test. Yes. Okay, so there we go. Temps over here. Not spiking instantly up to 90 like they were before. Doesn't look like it. I feel like last time, you know, you saw it, that they went to 90 like that, and then pretty quick after that they were up on the 100 C's, and it's still about the same temperature. It's about 24 C still, 23.8, which is what it was about last time. Wow, we're still at 60 C. I guess I shouldn't be quite so amazed, but I'm amazed that it had that big of an impact. I mean, I guess that air just wasn't getting into the fins at all, and so if there's no air getting in the fins, it's just not going to work at all. So that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit now that we're not just dying. I don't know how long to let it sit, but I want to see if it does eventually get into the 90s. Because my plan was to change the thermal paste as well and see if that makes a difference, and I guess I still will. But you know, since it seems like we already fixed the problem already, moral of the story is, hey, you better get Mr. Dust off and dust off your CPU every now and then. And it really wasn't even that hard. I mean, at all. Certainly there was a lot of dust built up, but if you did that every month, you don't even need to do it every month. If you did that once a year, you'd be fine, I think. Alright, I'm just going to sit. I'm going to do a little fast forward thing and just sit here for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'll come back in 10 minutes. And we'll see how it's looking. And so we'll see in 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, so it's been about 10 minutes and things are looking good. Yeah, I mean, it's 80, let's see, high of 80, the max temp 83. So that compared to the max temp of like, I don't know, what was it, like 105? That I guess is when it was starting to throttle. I looked it up. That some people say that 105 C is when the CPU starts to throttle. So this wouldn't have been possible that I just went away for 10 minutes and came back before I had done the dust, because it was high as heck. I mean, it was up there, like I said, 105 and up, and it was throttling, and it was bad news. Now no dust, and we're looking good. We're looking totally fine. So I'm actually going to, I feel like maybe 10 minutes wasn't enough, so I'm gonna go get something to eat and just leave this going, leave Prime 95 going, see what happens, and I'll come back, check the temps, and then change the thermal paste and see if that does anything else. but I'm impressed. Remove the dust. Remove the dust. That's the tip of the day. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I've been like 30 minutes. And the temperature is still good. It's still about the same, 83. It does say high of 91 right there. But no throttling. Temps are good. So, and I got my food. So everything's good in the world. But I'm going to finish my food, and then I'm gonna change the thermal paste and run it for a while longer, and we'll see what happens. So here's me changing the thermal paste. Okay, I'm back now, and that video cut off there because these stock Intel coolers are awful to put on, and I actually took the motherboard out to make sure I was not pressing down too hard and breaking anything. And yeah, I was doing it wrong, but those coolers really are a pain in the butt anyways. So yeah, so a little while's gone by, but I did get it going, and got it back in here, and look at the temps. I mean, I'm surprised. New thermal paste definitely helped. The high before was 91C, and I've been running this for more than half an hour, and with Prime 95, and the high was 84C. So that's pretty good. I wasn't expecting that. I saw such a difference with removing the dust that I thought maybe that was as good as it gets. So with this cooler, but you saw the way the thermal paste was in there. It looked pretty bad. It looked like it needed some help. It was kind of bare looking. So just this cheapo thermal paste, which is almost identical to what I had in there when I put it in a few years ago. But yeah, fresh thermal paste helped. So I thought I might call it quits there, but I've got this Noctua paste. I've got this Noctua paste, which is NT-H1, and it says it's a pretty good paste online. So I'm gonna pop off that CPU cooler that I hate so much and try the Noctua paste, and we'll see if it's any better. I'll let it run a little bit, and I'll get back here. So here we go. Woo! All right, so I'm back again now after having to run it about 30 more minutes. This time I put in the Noctua paste, and I also just took the cooler itself and sprayed it a little more from the other side just to get out. There was a little bit of dust left. So the idea there was just get it as clean as possible and see what the temps are. And we did actually see a difference. So temps, the max temps were even better. We're at about 81, and so better by about 3 degrees or so. And ambient temps are still about the same. Been about the same all day actually. That's air conditioning for you. So I put them into a chart. Let me turn off Prime 94. Okay, didn't really do it there. So I made a little, put them in a spreadsheet, the results, just so we can see. This is the original one there. The average originally was 102 max temp. So that is no bueno. And then after the cleaning, that dropped to 88.75. So that is a difference of about 14 degrees. That's pretty good just for using a can of air on your CPU cooler. And then the new goo, as I wrote it here, the new thermal paste got us down to 82 average, and then the better goo, the Noctua NT-H1 or whatever it's called, got us down to 78 degrees average. The biggest difference was just the cleaning, just getting rid of the dust. That did us 14 degrees. Overall, we got down a difference of 24.75 degrees Celsius cooler than before. So that's pretty awesome. I am surprised at these results. I honestly wasn't sure we would see much of any result. Obviously, there's tons of videos online where people use different pastes, and I figured that the different paste would certainly make a difference. Obviously, people recommend changing your paste, putting in new paste, but I had no idea the difference would be this great. So the moral of the story really is that if you have a dusty PC, you should be cleaning it out because you might actually be hindering your performance. It's pretty crazy that it's that big of a difference. And also just that, you know, the maintenance makes a big difference, but also like you don't need a new cooler necessarily. You might just have a bunch of dust in there. You might want to just put new thermal paste on, or get some better thermal paste and dust it out. And hey, you got a much cooler running PC and a much more performant PC. That's pretty awesome. So that's the results, and that's it. I hope this was interesting. It was interesting to me. It was really not expected, and I got some more videos coming out soon. So go ahead and subscribe and like this video to see that. Next one, I got several experiments involving water cooling coming up. Not on this PC, but I've got another PC I'm going to set up to do some water cooling stuff with. Some wacky water cooling ideas that I've got kicking around in my head. I think it'll be fun. So I look forward to seeing you there, and thanks for watching. Bye.